Hi, my name is Lauren Goodkind, and I am a good and kind person. Goodkind is really my last name. If you play me a game of chess, I am a mean kind of person. Today, I'm going to analyze one of the games that I played in the Mechanics Tuesday Night Rapid online tournament. This um, game was played, I believe, last week. It was a game in 10 minutes plus, I think, a 2 second increment, or it was either, or it might be five, but okay. In this position, okay, so I was white in this position. I was white in this game, and I played against Adrian Kondakov. And let me show you what happened. This was a really nice win. So I started out with e4. I really like playing e4. My opponent played e5. I moved knight to f3. It's important to control the center, get the knights, the bishops out. Knight to c6. And then I go pawn to c6. And then the idea is to move the pawn up to d4. Knight goes to f6, and now this knight is attacking this pawn. And what I end up doing is I end up moving pawn to d4. Just so that you know, this opening is called the Ponziani opening. I played the Ponziani many times, so I am familiar with this line. Its pawn goes to d4, and now the pawn and knight, both pieces are attacking the pawn on e5. And so my opponent decided to take the pawn on d4, and then of course my pawn on e4, it's being attacked by the knight. So I moved it up, and the knight goes to d5, and then I only know the main line. So queen goes to b3. It's attacking the knight, and then my opponent moves the knight back, but now I can safely take the d4 pawn with my pawn. And then I've got two pawns in the center, which is good. Pawn goes to d5, and then I want to get my knights and bishops out, so I go knight to c3. Bishop goes to f5, so it is controlling these squares. I have to be careful. I decided to pin the knight to the king. So if you notice, the bishop is on the same diagonal as this king. Okay, so bishop goes there. I think he wants the castle. That makes sense. And then I decided to just castle 2. That's what you're supposed to do. He castles. And then I go pawn to a3, and then it just stops the knight from going to b4. He goes there. It's attacking the queen, so I need to do something about it. So I end up moving the queen back. That's okay. Pawn to a6, it's attacking my bishop, so I decided to go back. This bishop is powerful. He takes, and then I'm happy to take it back with the queen. And then he moves his knight. So his knight is attacking the rook and bishop. I need to do something, of course. I move the rook to b1. He takes it, and then I take it back with my rook. I think right now my position is I'm doing okay. So pawn goes to c6. I decided to gain space, and I think I'm doing okay. Knight goes to c4. Now it's attacking the a3 pawn. I still have to be careful, but I have knight a4. And then I was thinking, like, oh, okay, I could just move the knight to c5 and attack that pawn. That's what I was thinking. Queen goes there. Oh, okay. So now the queen is here. The queen can go to g4. I moved the pawn here, so the queen can not go to the g4 square. Rook to d8. Then I go here, and then I'm just attacking the queen. And then these two pawns, bishop takes, I go there. And then I move the rook here to attack the b7 pawn. Rook goes there. And then I decided to like I wanted him to like make a weakness in his position, so that's why I moved knight to g5. And then to stop the mate, he moved pawn to g6. I moved rook to b3 right there. Rook. I decided to double up. The pawn on b7 seems weak to me. Okay, I go there. I decided to go back. Um. So now I move the pawn here and threatening the pawn on b7. He goes back. He takes my knight, and then now he makes a mistake. He needs to do something about the h6 pawn. I don't think he saw that. I think that he needs to move his king here. Otherwise, I could maybe move queen to b2 and go after the b7 pawn. That's what I'm thinking. But okay. After I took the pawn on h6, I was really happy because now my queen is really close to the king. a5, then I go here. Queen goes there. I'm trying to attack him right now. Rook goes to b3, and then now I'm trying to make a decision. It's like, okay, where should I move my rook? I move rook to b4. Now it's attacking this pawn, and it's also attacking the b7 pawn. And the rook goes there. I moved my rook over to f6, and then the idea is that he can't take my rook. Otherwise, because if rook takes rook, then I'll take it back with the pawn, and then he can't stop the checkmate. So I think that's why he decided to move the queen back, and then I moved the rook back. He moves the rook there. I move there. Now my rook is pinning the pawn to the king. He goes there, and then again he just hung another pawn. So I decided to take this pawn. And then he goes there. I think what he's trying to do is to activate his pieces, and I think that's what he's trying to do. So no, I wanted to just go after his pawns right now. He goes there to check my king, but it's no big deal because I moved the king to h2. He moves the rook here. It's attacking that pawn. No big deal because I moved the pawn up, and then I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I can attack with these pawns. I like how my rook right now is on the 7th rank, and it's also attacking the pawn on a4. Rook goes here. It seems like he wants me to take it, but I just take the pawn on a4. He goes there, and then he goes there. He's trying to attack me right now because if he wants to go queen to b3, and then that checks the king, and it's also attacking rook 2, and I have to be really careful about that. And then I don't want his queen to get in my territory, so that's why I moved rook to b4. He moves queen to a7, and then I move the king back. My king is safe behind this pawn. Now, you might be asking, well, can this queen take this pawn? The answer is no, because if the queen takes the pawn on a3, then I move the rook to b8, and then it's going to lead to a checkmate. This queen is controlling 4 squares next to this king. This king can't move. So taking that pawn, it's a poison pawn. So I think that's why he moved the rook to e8, I decided to attack with h5. I really wanted to attack him. I think the idea is if he takes, then I'm thinking like the G file would be open. So we did take it, and I decided to not take the pawn because then his king can escape. But the thing is, like, this is such a weak pawn anyway. I needed to get this rook into play. If you notice right now, the G file is still open. So that's why I decided to go rook to b3. And then the idea is like, hey, now I can go g3, and that's gonna be a checkmate. So I think that's why he decided to go h4. It stops the rook from going to g3. But of course, I am threatening another checkmate. I'm threatening to move my pawn to f6, and then that's gonna be a checkmate. That's why I think he moved queen to d7. The idea is if I move my pawn to f6, then the queen can go to g4, and then he is holding on. So that's why I moved rook to f3. Notice this king still can't move. He moves the rook there, and then I go rook to f4. The a3 pawn, the a3 pawn is a poison pawn because if this rook takes the pawn, then I got rook to g4, and that's going to be a checkmate. So I don't care if he takes this pawn. So he goes there, and then of course I want to attack, and then his king is toast right now. I move the rook to g7, and then I go here. And then, of course, what you want to do is you want to consider all checks. The most obvious move for beginners might be like, oh, look, I can just capture the queen on d7. But you want to consider all checks. Notice this king is trapped on the eighth rank. So instead of taking the queen, I move the queen to h8, and then that's a checkmate. So in your chess games, just consider all your checks. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy watching me like analyze my games, playing like chess games, please subscribe to my channel. One of the reasons why I started this channel is to inspire more women and girls to play chess. Chess is a male-dominated game, and I'm just happy to be a women chess teacher based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've also written 2 chess books that are published on Amazon, and I also have a 500 puzzle website for beginners. So I created all 500 puzzles. That's Chess by Lauren. So I am doing my best in the chess community. So thank you so much for watching. And also my other question is, if you would like me to play you a game of chess, like on Lead Chess or chess.com, let me know.